Hey everybody, this is Jessica Lynn of Jessica Lynn Original Studios, and today I thought it'd be really fun to recreate this amazing wreath that I saw at the Halloween Spirit Store. It was all loosely based off of the Haunted Mansion, and I thought, you know what, let's see what we can do. So let me show you what it looks like. I do have a video that I'll link down below that you can take a look at of that Spirit Store. But here's the wreath that I'm talking about. It's a light up Welcome Foolish Mortals wreath. And you can see it has the hitchhiking ghost with a nice, evening starry night with the Welcome Foolish Mortals, the 1313, some bats, and some really beautiful flowers. So what I've done is, if you are interested in recreating this, I will have an Amazon link list, so you can take a look at that. I'll put that link down below. And in there I put everything that I'm going to use to create this paper craft. So if you're interested in picking up any of that, you can just go right to this link and it'll actually show you all of that. And I do appreciate if you go there. I do earn commission on that, and then any of those monies get turned back into different crafts and creations here on our YouTube channel. So I appreciate it. Thank you for supporting us. I did link the curtain on there just so you have to see it. It's so cool. That's actually the shower curtain we have in our main bathroom. It's amazing. I love the Haunted Mansion. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and use the Distress Oxides. And the colors I did list in that store. So if you're interested in knowing the specific colors, they are Seedless Preserves, which is like a purple, Faded Jeans, Chipped Sapphire, Salty Ocean, Black Soot. And basically I am going to work my way out. You can see on the far right, I do have a scrap piece of paper, and that's so I can kind of start, instead of going right in, I can blend it out a little bit before I start. And the purple itself, which is that Seedless Preserves, it was a little more on the pinky purple side, which was totally fine, because I'm going to come back in with a purpler, like a bluish purple, and blend it all in, and it looks so beautiful in person. Like, it's gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. Now, if you've never used the Distress Oxides, again, I do give a shout out every time to Amy. She is my Distress ink goddess. She's the one who encouraged me to go and try it, and I have not looked back since, so I appreciate her for that. It's super easy. It's like painting with shoe polish. Just know it's about creating layers, taking the time to blend, and know that when it's fully dry, it does look different than it does when you're actively working on it. So definitely do some tests until you get comfortable with the colors, unless you just want to do like I did and just go for it and see what happens, which I think is half the fun. Now, don't forget to clean off your brushes. So the next thing we're going to do is, once I let the actual page with the Distress Oxide dry, I went ahead and you can see I'm just going to draw in a couple of things that'll show up potentially in the background. And again, I'm just trying to mimic that wreath. So you can see there's a couple of little bats, a tree that I'm going to try and redraw. I've got the hitchhiking ghosts, and then I drew some grass down there. I think I did a pretty good job of getting their outlines kind of together. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in. Now this says it's black, but because it already has the Distress Oxide ink, it looks more of like a gray. And so what I'm going to actually do is build this up in color layers, which will allow it to have some dimension and some really nice shadowing that I think is going to look really good on our final project. Now that I've got it all colored in with at least the first level, I went through and I cut out a 5.5 inch circle. So you can see what I did was I did the whole outline. I actually cut it out. So now it looks like a moon. Now it's not going to stay that way because we're going to actually be putting it on another sheet of paper. So it will make more sense as we go through. But what I'm going to do is I have these really awesome paint marker pens. Love them. Basically it's like acrylic paint in a pen. And so I can come back in, and again, in that wreath, it's got a whole bunch of little white stars in the background. So it looks like at the bottom, they're smaller, and then at the top, they get a little larger. So we're going to try and recreate some of that. I think that the white acrylic pens. I think these are working pretty well. I plan on using these to add some more shadows and highlights once we get the whole project done. But I think making sure we got that background in definitely is a great place to start. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we are going to glue this down. And again, we just put it on a new sheet of white paper. Now my goal is to make this so that the entire image is about 8 by 8 because I want to be able to frame it in a shadow box. So as we're looking at the wreath, you can see all the way around it there is this, I don't know what I want to call it, but it looks spindly like hay or like something. It's a straw stick black. So we're going to try and recreate a version of that. We're going to draw it right on here. So I am literally going on and sketching over it, and we're going to make this very fluid lines. And then when we're done, I'm going to come up with a black marker and we're going to color this in. Now you might say, why would I do this? This is actually going to be the bottom layer. It'll make more sense as we stack. My plan is to actually use foam risers, and some of the stuff you see where it says like "Welcome Foolish Mortals" and the really beautiful purple and turquoise flowers, those will be up on risers above this. So it'll actually build some dimension. And when I draw it, I always get a little worried, but I love drawing with my black G2 pen. It's how I draw all of my art. So if you've ever purchased stamps from me before, please know that that's actually how I start, and then I scan and do cleanup afterwards. I really think they give a nice, they're just beautiful ink. Like it rolls really nice, and it always looks nice. And as you can see, I'm just going in, and the quality of it, if you look at the image, it's truly line art at its finest. So there's little dots and little nuances that none of the lines match. They all sort of have this little sketchy edges that come out. And I'm so excited at how this is starting to look. I can already envision the entire project. So wait until you see this at the end. I cannot wait to share the full version, but so cool. It's starting to look like it. So this is going to be the bottom part of the sign where it says "Welcome Foolish Mortals." I tried to recreate the font the best I could. I think this will look good. And what I'm going to do is draw like a line around it because I want to make it like a little sign, because that's kind of what it looks like. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to color this in. I'm going to do some hash marks and really clean it up. Now up here, I'm going to draw a banner. There we go. And we'll draw another banner. There we go. And then we're going to put that 1313 in there. And some little dots. Give it some lines. There we go. There we go. Almost done. There we go. Now this will look really good, especially once we get it all colored in. I think it just needs some extra coloring. So we're going to use the Copic markers. I'm just going to outline this, and then I'll start with coloring the bottom one, and then we'll color in the top one. And we'll make a match. I want them in the same color family, which I want it to be kind of a tan brown, just because I think that the blue and orange complementary, you know, across each other on the color wheel will really help kind of pull this together, maybe more than the original. So I really like this. We'll see how this turns out. We'll get a bunch of shadowing in there. And then I think I'll actually come back in and add some additional sketch lines like I did up at the top banner. I just want to take a really quick moment and thank you so much for watching while I am creating this really fun wreath. Be sure to go ahead and down below hit that subscribe button. There's a little red icon down in the bottom right hand corner. Just click on that and you'll subscribe. We do have an option where you can join, and that is a monthly fee to do that. And then you get all kinds of extra perks if you are interested. Again, just by adding that little bit of white from the paint marker, it just makes it pop just a little bit more. So really like the way this turned out. I'm probably going to go ahead and just cut these out real quick so we can just see how they look. And we won't tape or glue anything down, but we'll just sort of put them on there so we can get an idea of how it's going to look. And I think based on what I'm seeing, I think that the sizing looks pretty close. And I think the colors, like I was hoping, would kind of pop. I really do think that orangey brown really helps bring it to life. That looks so cool. I'm so happy with this. Every once in a while, you get those projects in your head and you're like, I can see what I want to do. Please let it turn out that way. And then it does. So. All right, I cannot wait to show you the next part. I love being able to showcase my drawing skills. And so what I did was when I cut out the original hitchhiking ghost, I've told you I cut out a 5.5-inch circle. So what I did is in Word, I made a circle 5.5 inches so that it would be just a little bit bigger. And you can see what I'm doing is I'm looking at the picture of the wreath, and from there I'm drawing it freehand. So this is no drawing it with a pencil coming back. This is whatever I draw is how it's going to look. And then I have to figure out how to do shadowing and highlights to make it look amazing. So with this, you can see there's a bunch of flowers and some black petals. There's a spider up there and another flower. And then on the left-hand side, there's a purple flower and a bunch of bats. So that's what we're going to try and recreate. Now you might say to me, why am I drawing it on a circle? Well, I plan on coloring this and then cutting it out, and then I'm going to fit it right over the circle that I created with the hitchhiking ghosts. If that doesn't make sense, I promise you once I get to that point it'll make a whole lot more sense. But again, I'm just freehanding this with my black ink pen, and I cannot wait to see how it looks when I color it in. And the best part is that I'm using a light board behind it to get that circle shape, because I know that I want it to be built in that circle arch, or that arc, if you will, on either the left and the right. So I think this is going to look really good. I can't wait to see it all put together and colored. I will be coloring it in with Copic markers, so that will be fun to do. I'm excited. And oh, this looks so good. So you can see I took away the circle underneath, and now I just get to color for fun and have fun with it. And again, with the Copic markers, always start with a lighter shade and then build up. Because if you add too much darkness, you can't take that away. So it's always easier to add more darkness to the colors than it is to remove it. And I am so happy with how beautiful these are turning out. And the best part is that these are one of a kind, right? Like, so I hand drew this with the black ink. I can't go back and change it. It is what it is. So I always love that kind of challenge. I think that's fun. And again, you can see I'm coming back in, and I wanted to have that sketch quality. So you can see I'm adding additional dots, little hash lines, just enough to add contrast to that gray and the black. Oh, this is going to look so good. I cannot wait to see this all put together. And one of the things I've learned when you color things so dark is to use the paint markers, because you'll be surprised at how many highlights you can pull out without making it look strange. I think just by adding a little bit on those black flowers and the leaves, it really makes them pop. And I am so excited. I think this is going to just be gorgeous. Using the ink pen is really easy. You just have to shake it a lot, and then you have to push it all the way down, let the ink start to flow into the tip. Once it's there, then it'll actually just kind of flow like a pen. So it's really easy to be able to color with. I didn't think it would be as easy the very first time I used one, but it's no different than writing with like an ink pen. So if you're used to that, which again, I use my G2 all the time, so I'm used to, worrying about dragging my hand through it, and trust me, with the white acrylic paint, you really have to be careful with that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just cut this out. Now I know a lot of you say, oh, you always use your brother's Scan and Cut, and I do. I love that thing. But I wanted to show you can create this without having that. So you can see I cut them all out, and I took a gray and I went along all the edges. And the reason I did that was that I didn't want a white outline. I wanted it to kind of sink into the background. So I hope that makes sense. Now the best part, after you kind of pre-assemble just to make sure it all fits, right? Because I was a little worried with sizing, but it all fit. The best part is actually putting those foam risers on and putting your project together. Like, being able to see this actually come to life. It was really fun. My kids and my husband kind of stood there and watched because I don't think we all thought it was going to work as well as it did. I mean, I'm not going to say I didn't have faith in what I was doing, but you know how sometimes you get into projects and you're not quite sure if that vision in your head is actually what's going to happen. And the best part was it was even better. So I'm so happy with this, and I am going to frame it, and I will be putting that up on our wall. So you can see I'm just putting those foam risers on, filling it all in. So again, we're just recreating that wreath, right? And I've done all the work, I've done all the pieces, and now I'm going to put more foam on these little side pieces. And again, the reason I put the foam is that it has a little bit of a height difference. It creates really beautiful shadows, especially if you're going to frame it in a shadow box. It looks amazing whenever you use foam risers. I've created quite a few of those Mickey shapes in the past, where I do a lot of like Mickey heads, and then I'll put characters and stuff like that on there. And by using the foam risers, it just brings those to life. And they look so amazing in the shadow frame boxes, which is what I am going to go ahead and use here. Again, that full list on Amazon that I have, that I'll link down below, I do have shadow box in there for you and an 8x8 frame. So if you're interested. Oh, it looks so good. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I am so proud of this. I had a vision in my head. I absolutely love the original, but I thought, you know what? I want to recreate it. And I am so glad I took today and did that. You can see the bats look so good. And again, these are all things that I just doodled out. And it is so fun to be able to share my art. Like this is so cool. I just want to take a moment and say thank you so much for following me on this fun adventure today. I was really inspired when I saw this at the Spirit store, and I knew I needed to recreate it in my world. So I appreciate you. Don't forget to visit my website, which is JessicaLynnOriginal.com. I'll go ahead and put up 2 more videos for you to watch, and I would love to hear from you. What did you think? Take care, everybody.